fine. Once you introduce me and you hand it over to me, I'll take the show over from there. Can we make my slides any bigger or not?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'll be your host, Christy Wilbert, Vice President of Medicare Offerings at URL Insurance Group. And our topic today is Senior Ancillary Products. So ancillary products are coverage options offered in addition to your Medicare supplement or your Medicare Advantage plan, and they truly supplement the existing benefits. So it creates a more well-rounded coverage for your clients. For example, a hospital indemnity plan. It could reimburse you for any inpatient hospital copay. Or a cancer plan can protect your greatest exposure for financial loss with out-of-pocket maximums, or your Part B coinsurance for durable medical equipment, or even any network issues. But the type of plan that we get asked about the most is dental, vision, and hearing. So when we thought about a carrier partner that we were going to have join us today, it was really an easy thought to say, we got to grab Aetna because they have all the plans that I mentioned, plus more, and they have a super easy online quoting and enrollment tool on their website. So you just really can't beat it. Today we have George Pelekanos, Regional Vice President, joining us, and he's going to walk us through their offerings. So go ahead, George, and take it away.
Thank you, Christy. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. Allow me, if I may, to start by giving everyone a little idea of who I am and what I've been doing for almost 4 decades. I've been in this amazing industry, helping our senior citizens with their value add insurance and needs, and assuring that they have a retirement consisting of just pleasant retirement years, if you will, without any concerns. So I'm very passionate about what we're going to talk about. We at Aetna Senior Supplemental Insurance, we have a very diverse product portfolio. I hope you find one, two, three, or all of the plans that can become part of your portfolio offerings that you share with your clients. The first slide here, this is a picture of our new building. It's in Orchard Farms, Tennessee. It's about 10 miles south of Nashville. And through this office, we issue, process, adjudicate claims. We do everything from start to finish on all of our senior supplemental products. You know, this is my mission statement. Caring for our customers. That's one common denominator we all have. And at Aetna Senior Supplemental Insurance provides you, our partner, the tools needed to achieve our common purpose in our quest for member satisfaction. In this rapidly evolving market, holy smokes, is it ever evolving? And that's a good thing, team. You know, sometimes human nature, we embrace change as, oh my gosh. No, let's embrace change as opportunity. I've seen it decade after decade. There's opportunity there. So this market is evolving. Be aware of how it is evolving. Be aware what you, as a trusted advisor, owe it to your clients to talk to them about. So at our Aetna's diverse insurance product portfolio allows clients, now let me stop right there. It allows clients to look at their options. How are our clients going to look at options if we, the trusted advisor, do not bring those to their attention? So share options with your clients. You know, we were in AEP not too long ago, and you enrolled a lot of clients in a Medicare Advantage, which is a viable option naturally. Create a policy review. Go back and see these good folks. Show them how not only can you offset that hospital per diem, but you could offset that 20% copay for chemo and radiation. That is huge liability. And you can do that for a very minor monthly premium. What does that do? It generates an extra perpetual income stream for you, the agent. But over and above that, it gives a peace of mind. It increases persistency. It creates validity in our professional demeanor and what we, the trusted advisors, are all about. So share it with your clients. Let them look at options that bring ultimately value and peace of mind to their lives. You know, years ago, I had something that kind of, at my beginning of my career, I had something that was kind of a brain issue, and it was perception. I always perceived, oh, our poor seniors, they can't afford anything. Let me share with you, leave your perception at the door. Our job is not to perceive anything other than identify insurable risk and offer viable, long-term, affordable solutions. These questions are going through our clients' minds. What healthcare solution works for me? How will I pay for nursing home? How will I pay for home health care? How will I pay for dental, vision, and hearing costs? How will I pay my end of life expenses, life insurance, right? How will I pay for cancer costs? How will I pay my co-pays? We can pick any of those bubbles there and say, well, how will I pay for nursing home? I'm not going to a nursing home. Let's leave perception at the door. Nursing homes in years past, I remember in the 80s when I was selling long-term care, right? It'd be a different type of program, perhaps where grandma would go because no one was there to take care of her. Today, however, when we get sick or injured, we go to the hospital. They stabilize us. They move us to different facets of care: skilled, intermediate, custodial, maybe assisted living, maybe at home. We all have heard about that outpatient observation, which you're in the hospital, but you're not considered an admit. You're considered a observation stay, being there 3 days, 4 days. What does that affect? That affects the 3-day prior trigger for Medicare to cover their 20-day skills. So we'll touch on each and every one of them, but these thoughts are going through our clients' minds. Our product portfolio, what do we offer? We offer a very good Medicare supplement plan through either our Aetna or our Ascendo brand. We offer a hospital indemnity flex, which we'll cover a little bit later. Cancer and heart attack or stroke, the best cancer plan on the market, bar none. Team, I'm not saying that because I work for Aetna. I'm saying that, and I'll share my little cheat sheet slide I put together here. It's the best on the market. Recovery care, short-term nursing, home care plus, dental, vision, and hearing, as Christy indicated at the beginning of our presentation. Final expense. There is a value add when a company can offer that full umbrella portfolio for your client. We have a product availability grid, which is available on your agent portal at aetnaseniorproducts.com. It'll give you a thumb sketch of what products are available in the state you're selling in. Pretty diverse, so reference that. Let's talk a little bit about Medicare supplement. It's kind of a boring subject, but we'll talk a little bit about it. Some of the earmarks of a Medicare supplement, naturally, choice of plans to meet the individual's needs. Decades ago, Plan F was the thing, the hot plan. No other option but Plan F. Then we transitioned to Plan G. Now, folks, believe you me, Plan N is the plan you should be talking to your clients about. We take a little Q&A at the end. Choice of licensed doctors, hospitals. You can go anywhere as long as they accept Medicare, there's no networks. There's not a 12-month renewal situation. As long as your client pays their premium, their plan is perpetual. It's portable. It's renewable, right? No worries about losing coverage when they relocate. Unlike Medicare Advantage plans, Medicare supplement applications are accepted throughout the year. I don't know about you folks, but I have bills 12 months a year, not 3, right? So by being that trusted advisor, giving your client, here's traditional Medicare and a Medicare supplement, here's your Medicare Advantage. Again, either of them are viable options, but Medicare and a supplement has some hidden benefits that your client needs to be aware of. Claims are electronically processed naturally. There's no claim forms anymore. Why choose us? Broad choice of plans, portable coverage, guaranteed renewable, no pre-existing condition at any time. Once we accept a Medicare supplement insured, they're fully covered. Competitive commissions, competitive premium rates. We have sales incentives. I know in 2021, we paid $6.1 million out in agent sales incentives. So if you're not aware of that, please reach out to me, Christy, or go onto your agent portal and see the great incentives we have out there. Again, plans A, B, F, G, and N are available through our Aetna. Through Asundo, we have A, F, G, and N. And for the household discount for the Aetna entities, we have a 7% discount. Now, there must be 2 policyholders in the home to qualify for the 7%. However, on the Asundo, they get a 14% discount if they at least live with 1 but not more than 3 adults. Let me start the conversation about speaking to the ancillary product line. You know, our federal and congressional cutbacks between 2013 and 2022 are $716 billion. And we've seen it. We've seen it in terms of observation stays. We've seen it in many, many levels with the Medicare program. So whenever there's cutbacks, that ultimately leaves a larger liability for our seniors. Let's talk a little bit about the protection series, cancer and heart attack or stroke. I indicated to you that this is the best plan on the market, but let's realize the risk first and foremost. Cancer is the second most common cause of death. 87% of all cancers are diagnosed in persons 50 and older. Every 2 minutes, a child is diagnosed. 41% of men and 38% of women will be diagnosed during their lifetime. You know, cancer doesn't know age, creed, race, demographics. I don't think any of us have not been either directly or indirectly affected by this dread disease. Heart attack is the number one cause of death in the United States, responsible for 1 out of 4 deaths. That's staggering. About 720,000 Americans will have a heart attack this year. Stroke, third leading cause of death in women and 5th in men. So these are very common conditions that any of us can be diagnosed. We could be an athlete and have, unfortunately, diagnosis for any of these conditions. It's always nice to be prepared. We spoke a little bit about the statistics. I'll kind of skip through this. The good news is the survival rate is there. Medical technology, right? By 2020, or in 23, number of cancer survivors to increase 31%, largest increase amount, age 65 and older. 85% of persons who have had a heart attack will survive. I'm one of the statistical percentages there. Cardiovascular health, right? The bad news is that the cost of treating cancer has increased 27% just a few years ago, and it's continually going up. Uninsured people with cancer are more likely to be diagnosed at a later stage. Unfortunately, they progress it perhaps. Regardless of how good an individual's insurance is, there are so many costs related to cancer that either are not addressed by their policy or is considered indirect costs. Unfortunately, I lost my father about 4 years ago of cancer. And one of his medications was $2,400 a month, team. And that was not covered. It wasn't in his tier 1, 2, especially. It was not covered. That was a concern, right? So let's talk a little bit about how do we position cancer insurance? How do we start the dialogue to have that intelligent, realistic conversation with their clients, right? I was talking with one agent in Grand Rapids, and she says, George, I just don't know how to talk about that. I don't feel comfortable. I said, do me a favor. When you leave your client's home, whether you enroll them in a Medicare Advantage or Medicare Supplement, simply just let your client know. Thank you for bestowing your trust in me. It's going to be a great pleasure being your trusted advisor. But again, this plan is a very good plan, but please, this is not intended to replace your cancer policy. The client may say, what cancer policy? Now you're in the dialogue, right? So what are some of the benefits about our plan? Issued ages 18 through 89. So you can see how your market just broadened dramatically. Coverage options: individual, and spouse or domestic partner, individual and children or child, or family plan. So when you do your quote and enroll, you'll be able to identify which is applicable. And I'm going to share something that's very unique on the next slide of how we treat our family or the individual and or children plan. Benefits payable upon diagnosis. It's not a schedule. It's not as though we're going to pay X amount of dollars for this. No, once we get a diagnosis, a pathologist showing there is cancer, we're going to pay the benefit that client bought, lump sum. They could buy as low as $5,000 or as much as $75,000. Same lump sum benefit amount for each covered person paid directly to the policyholder or beneficiary. So if there's a family, right? You got a mom, a dad, and one child or 11 children. They each get the benefit amount that the family chose, up to $75,000. Helps offset out-of-pocket expenses. No hospitalization required. 30-day only waiting period for pre-existing. Now, helps offset out-of-pocket expenses. What are some of those? Let's kind of identify the Medicare Advantage, right? 20% chemotherapy, 20% radiation that client is obligated to pay. That is huge. We could offset that with this particular plan. And another important, great benefit that I've seen no other company offer, the youngest partner is the primary insurer. So you have mom that's, let's say, 50, dad's that's 60. You make mom the primary insured, which drops your price point dramatically. So you make the youngest person the primary insured, and then you make the oldest person the secondary insured. Here's the little cheat sheet slide I was talking about. Family rates and individual and spouse rates are based off the youngest spouse. That's key. Remember that. Most competitive cancer rates on the market, period. This plan covers cancer in situ 100%. So what does that mean? Let's say I'm diagnosed with prostate cancer, right? It's isolated to the prostate. It hasn't metastasized, not moving around. Some companies consider that cancer in situ, and they pay a percentage of what the client bought, or may not even cover it at all. No, we cover it 100%. There's no additional premium for tobacco users. Believe it or not, tobacco or non-tobacco, same rates. Children receive the same benefit as adults, as we indicated earlier. There's no limit on the number of children that are covered in a family plan or an individual with child or children plan. So if that family has one child, or regardless how many children, each child gets that benefit. There's very little additional premium to cover children, pennies per day. No minimum premium on the EAP, where some companies have a minimum premium. So before we start looking at our dental, vision, and hearing plus plan, folks, please, cancer insurance is so vitally important. I can't stress that enough. We all know somebody, maybe directly in our family or good friend, that has been affected by this dread disease. Good news, technology, we survive, but there are direct costs. We spoke the chemo, the radiation, et cetera, medications, right? But how about those indirect costs? Let's say that I want to go to the Mayo Clinic. How many times do I go? Once a month, twice a month? You see the airfare. Who do I want with me? My number one support mechanism, my spouse, right? Lodging, meals. I don't think my mortgage company is going to say, Mr. Pelekanos, I'm sorry to hear what I heard. We're going to waive your next few months of mortgage. All the cost of living is going on while we're trying to battle and beat this dread disease. So please, if you're not talking to your clients about cancer insurance, please do. Let's go ahead and transition to the dental, vision, and hearing plan. So the dental, vision, and hearing plus covers for individuals, couples, and families ages 18 through 89. Now, unlike the cancer plan, the oldest applicant must be the policy's primary insured. Guaranteed acceptance, no health questions, no waiting periods for preventive, basic, and major dental services, which we will call Class A, B, and C. The clients have an option to choose $1,000 benefit per person, $1,500, $2,000, $2,500, or $3,000 maximum benefit per person per policy year. There's a $100 plan deductible per person per policy year, which is not applicable to the preventive dental services, or what we're going to call Class A. Freedom to choose any provider. Let me stop there and talk a little bit about networks and things of that nature. We have the largest network provider coast to coast. So your client can use the Carrington network, the Aetna network, or they can go to any provider that's out of network. They simply, their benefit goes further by going to a negotiated network provider. A layman analogy could be, if I was going to get a hearing aid and I went to a network provider, that hearing aid that perhaps would cost me, again, I'm just pulling numbers, let's say $1,000 out of the network, may cost me $600 in the network. So you can see how my dollars are going further by using a network provider. And if there is a particular doctor or provider that our clients love and they don't want to change, that provider can join our network. It's just a matter of a quick phone call. So preventive services, Class A. Deductible does not apply. There's no waiting period naturally. Covered at 100% when visiting a network provider. Services are cleanings, exams twice per year, diagnostic exams and x-rays. Your basic services, Class B, after deductible is applied, no waiting periods. The plan pays and it builds up, right? Year one, 65% of the services up to the amount the client bought. Year two and thereafter, 80%. Basic oral surgery, restorative services, periodontic services, fillings, extractions, non-surgical services. That's all covered under our Class B. Major services, the Class C. The deductible applies here if it was not met in the basic service class. There's no waiting periods. The plan pays first year 20%, years 2 and after 50%. Non-surgical extractions, endodontics, including root canals, periodontic surgery, fillings, bridges, crowns, dentures, implants, $1,500 lifetime maximum on the implants. Orthodontics is also covered, 12-month waiting period here. Plan pays years 2 and after 50% up to $1,500 lifetime maximum. Clear aligners, $750 lifetime maximum. So if it is a family plan and we need braces or the clear aligners, it's a nice benefit. Vision coverage, covered after 6 months after the deductible. The plan pays 65% for the year one, 80% years 2 and after. Pays up to $200 during any 2 policy years for eye exams, eyeglasses, contact lenses, etc. Hearing coverage. And I've had a lot of agents tell me, George, my client just had a great experience. They saved a lot on their hearing aids and things of that nature. But this benefit's covered after 12 months. After the deductible, the plan pays 80%, years 2 and after. Pays up to $500 during any one policy year for hearing exams and hearing aids and things of that nature. So at a glance, we can say $500, wow, how much are hearing aids? But if they go to a network provider, we've negotiated the cost of these things lower. So the $500 is substantial. My apologies, folks. All right, let's talk a little bit about our hospital indemnity. Again, Medicare Advantage, you have a hospital per diem, right? Days 1 through 5 or whatever it may be. The client has to pay X amount of dollars per day in the hospital. Now, here's what's so unique about our hospital indemnity plan. We could either choose option 1, which fits the need right there. We could look at what the hospital liability is with their Medicare Advantage, and we can, that would be your option 2. You could create that per diem, right? You could tailor build the plan to offset that hospital copay the Medicare Advantage leaves, as low as $10 a day in the hospital, up to $700 maximum. Okay. And it pays at every benefit period payable for each new period of care. A period of care is just like Medicare has 60 days. So if I had this plan and I go in the hospital, I'm in there for 5 days, and I get my indemnity plan, whatever I chose. Let's say I chose $100 a day, get my $500. If I'm home for 60 days or more, I've recovered, I go home, 6 days or more, it has to go back in. A new benefit period starts. That's option 2. Option 1 is a lump sum. That would be really applicable to maybe somebody that has a major medical type plan with a deductible upfront, which all of us do. It pays a lump sum for a hospital confinement, including observation stays. Now, we could tailor build this plan to $250 all the way up to $2,500. So if I had this plan, I go in the hospital, I'm in there 1 day, 2 days, whatever. I get $2,500. I get well, I come home. If I'm home for 60 days or more, I have to go back in. I get another $2,500. So you can see your market has just now expanded. Not only are we talking about your Medicare Advantage clients that have a per diem exposure in the hospital, but you may be talking to their children that have a major medical with a pretty sizable deductible up front. So you could choose option 1 or option 2. Then we could look at some optional benefit riders. We could add a daily skilled nursing facility indemnity plan. We can add doctor's office visit indemnity from $10 up to $60 per visit, 20 visits per calendar year. Let's say the client never goes in the hospital during that first year, second year, whatever, but they go to the doctor. If they chose a $60 benefit for doctor's office, we're going to pay $60 regardless. Outpatient surgical procedure indemnity. We can add that to it. So if they have any outpatient ambulatory type surgery, we could get a benefit of $250 all the way up to $1,500 per surgical procedure, once per calendar year. So if I had a $1,500 surgical procedure benefit rider on my plan, and I go and have an outpatient surgery, and it's $800, guess what I'm going to get? $1,500. That's what I bought. Hospital ER visit or ambulance service benefit must be medically necessary naturally. Emergency basis pays up to $200 per visit service, twice per calendar year. So you can see the latitude of how you could build this plan to meet your clients' needs and their budget. The most important optional benefit rider that I love on this plan, because a lot of agents talk to their clients that have Medicare Advantage, and they're talking about filling in that void in the hospital copay. You can add a lump sum cancer fixed indemnity to this plan. So if God forbid something happens and your client on the Medicare Advantage is exposed to that 20% chemo, 20% radiation, and they have this lump sum cancer rider, it's going to pay them the benefit. The client can choose $2,500, $5,000, or $10,000 per lifetime. They have the benefit there. Outpatient rehabilitation pays a daily amount of covered illness or injury for these outpatient therapists, such as occupational, physical, speech, right? $50 per visit. But again, I emphasize that lump sum cancer, fixed indemnity, tracking our business, that's probably the number one rider that clients are adding to their hospital indemnity. Frequently asked questions. What is period of care? As we indicated, 60 days, right? Is the policy guaranteed renewable? Absolutely. Are benefits paid directly to the policyholder? Yes. So when you get the policy, there will not be an ID card in it. Now, if you want an ID card, we can get into the agent portal, or your client can get into their customer portal and print one off, or we can send it to them. The reason we do not put ID cards in there is that if the client goes to an assigned facility, then the benefits have to be assigned to that facility versus to the client. And now the client's saying, well, where's my benefit? By not having a card, because that's usually what they're going to ask you when you go to the hospital. Can I, what insurance do you have? What other insurance do you have? They put it on there. If it's assigned, we got to pay them. By not having a card, we will pay the customer directly. Do premiums increase because of age or health? Absolutely not. It's an issued age policy. Going on with our protection series, we're going to talk a little bit about recovery care, or what we're going to call short-term care. Quick view underwriting drug list. No underwriting phone interviews. Keep in mind, this is a short-term nursing home plan. No phone interviews. There's no cognitive impairments they're going to be asking our clients. No medical records required to issue. No hospital stay ever required. So that kind of prevents the issue of the outpatient observation versus confinement. EAP available with personal security question and signature. If you have not used our enrollment tool, the online enrollment, I guarantee you the experience will be the best you've ever had. We have a security question signature. So after you enroll your client, you can simply ask them, Mrs. Smith, now to finalize this, we'll ask you a security code. You could say, pet's name, mother's maiden name, whatever it is. You put that in there. It signs all the documents, all the state-specific requirements, and it's submitted. You don't have to sit there and send it to them, and they need to sign it and send it back. One security question, and it goes into processing. Renewal premiums do not increase with age, health, or any other issue like that. Trusted household name. There's something to be said about talking to a client and using a good, strong household name like Aetna or Humana or Blue Cross, right? Again, like all of our products, you can tailor build these plans to meet your client's needs and their budget. It's issued from ages 50 to 89. Nursing facilities, folks, are no longer where older people go. Years past, they'd get us in the hospital, treat us, stabilize us. We'd fully recover, we're home. Now they get us in, they treat us, they stabilize us, they move us to different facets of care, skilled, intermediate, custodial. I'm 59 years old. I was in a nursing facility with my condition. So it includes benefits for assisted living and bed reservation. Pays a daily benefit for confinements in the nursing for skilled, intermediate, and custodial or assisted living. So what's skilled care? Skilled care is 24-hour care designated to rehabilitate one to the original state of health before accident or sickness. Intermediates, same as skilled to some degree, but the care is needed on an intermittent basis. Then custodials, when they're helping us with most of our ADLs, or activities, daily living, right? Eating, dressing, toileting, feeding, transferring, continence, things of that nature. So the crystal ball is not waxed up and ready to go. We don't know what levels we're going to need, nor are we going to dictate to the insured what levels they have to come in first. It's covered across the board. Provides policy, provided the policyholder cannot perform 2 or more of their ADLs. So they qualify for all the benefits. Here's the trigger. If they have problems performing 2 or more of the activities of daily living. And that's never an issue. If you have problems with one, you're likely going to have problems with the other, right? Eating, toileting, transferring, continence, things of that nature. 2 or more activities of daily living or cognitive impairment, Alzheimer's, dementia, things of that nature. The plan pays up to not $300 a day. We just increased the benefit maximum. We filed it with all the respective states, and we've got approval across the board. I don't know if there's any outstanding pending approval, but this is now offered at $400 a day. The client can choose the covered days, or what we call benefit periods, right? They get 90-day benefit, 180-day, 270, or 360 days. It has a restoration of benefit. So the benefit period is twice. So if you have a 360-day, let me use an example. If I have a 360-day benefit and I went into a facility, and let's say I used up 300 days. Well, came home for 180 days, and God forbid something new pops up or the same condition. I have to go back in. Not only do I have the 60 days left from my first benefit period, but I have another 360 days. That's pretty dynamic. The client could choose what we call a waiting period, or commonly referred to as elimination period. 0 day, meaning coverage starts from day one, 20-day deductible, or 100 days. I always recommend a 0 day. Trend is that we'll probably need care that first day we go in there. But again, you could tailor build this plan to meet your client's needs and their budget. How do you position a plan like this? Let's say you're talking to a client. Let's say you're selling long-term care. This is not intended to replace long-term care, but we all know the high premium cost of long-term care today. We also know that it's very hard to qualify underwriting-wise. Here's what I've been recommending, and agents are really looking and embracing, and it's just taken off. For the long-term care, go 1 year elimination period, 1 year deductible in the long-term care. That's going to drop the price point dramatically. It's going to give the underwriter of the long-term care company a reason to take the risk. We're not on the risk till a year after it's incurred. Then use a short-term care to cover that first year less a few days, right? It's going to give a lower price point, more of your cases will be issued, and then it will get rid of that trigger that long-term care tax qualified type plans have. So I don't want to really get off in the woods on this, but how do you position a plan like this? You need to feel comfortable about it. You need to understand it. But I think we all know we do not recover in the hospital, folks, like we did. The daily hospital indemnity. So we filed this plan as indemnity. So they can choose a hospital indemnity up to $300 a day, 20 days per period of care with a lifetime of 365 days. So if you're talking to your Medicare Advantage client and there is a per diem out of pocket with their Medicare Advantage and they're looking at a plan like this, hey, guess what? You could offset that hospital per diem liability. They can also add optional benefits such as home health care, which is also issued 50 through 89. Pays for each week the beneficiary receives 3 or more professional home care visits of at least 1 hour each. So if a doctor writes a plan of care, RN, LPN, LVN practitioners, those are all kind of common people that are going to come by the house. So provided the beneficiary cannot perform 2 or more activities of daily living or has cognitive impairment, and it pays up to $1,200 per week. Again, they could choose their benefit period, 13 weeks, 26 weeks, 52 weeks. So if you look at 52 weeks of home health care at $1,200 a week, and you do the math there, and you look at $400 times 360 days, that is a nice benefit package that you just put together for your client. I put a few rates here together for your review to kind of show you how affordable this is. So we can give somebody age 65 first day coverage, no waiting periods, no hospitalization, skilled intermediate custodial, and assisted living facility benefit. Give them $100 per day for 90 days, $9,000 benefit, with a restoration on it for $16.74 a month. $200 per day, $18,000 in benefits times 2, $31.69. That's not even a tank of gas. $300 per day, $27,000 for $46 and some change per month. $100 per day for 360 days, $36,000 per benefit period. So we're looking now at twice that, right? So $72,000 total. $42, call it $43 a month. $200 per day, $72,000 per benefit period times 2, $84. And you could see, but it's very, very affordable. And it allows you to, again, tailor build the plan to meet your client's needs and budget. And through our quote on the go or quote and enroll software, this is so easy to quote it to your clients. Definition, activities, daily living. We spoke about that a little bit. They must have 2 of the 6 ADLs, right? Bathing, continence, dressing, eating, toileting, transferring are all activities of our ADLs, right? So you can see if a client has problems with one, they're going to have problems with the other. Assisted living facility, cognitive impairment. That's another trigger. It's not in addition to the 2 ADLs. It's either or. Home care services, 3 weekly 1-hour visits. That will trigger it. Plan of care on separate days. Some frequently asked questions about the recovery care. What is period of care? It begins from the first day of confinement in a hospital or nursing facility or assisted living facility due to covered injury or sickness. It ends when the insured has been out of the hospital and does not require medical care for 60 consecutive days. Has been out of the nursing facility, the hospital 60 days. For nursing facility or assisted living, 180 days, the benefit period begins again. Is the plan guaranteed renewable? Absolutely. Benefits are paid directly to the policyholder unless you assign them to a healthcare provider. Premiums do not increase with age or health. And pre-existing conditions. Policy pays for pre-existing conditions after it has been in force for 6 months. So anything new is covered immediately after the policy is issued. If it's a pre-existing condition, very logically, after 6 months, it's also covered. Let's talk a little bit about the home health care plan, and we'll move along. When I hear home health care, I'm thinking of my Medicare and U book, and I look at, well, Medicare covers 100% if the doctor writes a plan of care. Medicare covers 100% for RN, LPN, LVN, all the, care. Medicare covers 80% of portable durable equipment. Any plan on the market will pay the other 20%. So why do I need more home health care? Simple. We do not recover in the hospital anymore. My mother and father needed home health care. And Medicare did a nice job. An hour and a half of care didn't cost anything. But the thing is, what happens for the rest of the day while our loved ones and clients are trying to recover? This plan will indemnify them, give them cash at hand so they could get the care they need while they're recovering. Because again, remember, we do not recover in the hospital like we did in years past. This plan, like our short-term care, is a quick view underwriting drug list. When you're doing your enrollment, it's there at your disposal. No underwriting phone and interviews, no medical records required. So when you're doing your enrollment, Milliman, our partners, are running any medical information in the background. So there's not going to be APSs or anything of that nature. You will know by the time you're ready to submit that application if your client's going to qualify or not. EAP available with personal security questions, as we indicated earlier. No hospital stays are ever required. Renewal premiums do not increase with age or health. No height and weight chart. The plan, this is our standalone home health care plan. You can choose up to $1,200 per week. You can choose up to 52 weeks. Again, you can tailor build the plan, meet your client's needs and budget. Lifetime maximum equal to twice the number of covered weeks. Ages 50 to 89, medically necessary home care. In other words, the doctor wrote a plan of care. Therapy visits covered, physical, speech, occupational therapy, intravenous therapy, antibiotics, wound care. There's a myth or sense that people are getting care at home for today. Ages 50 to 89. We spoke about the weekly benefit, medically necessary, requires 3 practitioner visits per week on separate days. And again, that's very, very practical, right? During the week, you're going to have maybe a nurse, RN come by, take vital signs. You may have a practitioner to do another service, like a bath or something, and you may have a therapist. So that's very practical that there's going to be 3 practitioners during the course of the week. Tailor build the plan, $1,200 weekly maximum, up to 52 weeks per benefit period. You choose a waiting period, 0 to 20 days. The premium variance here is so nominal. I always recommend first day coverage. You can add a hospital indemnity to this plan, also up to $300 per day, lifetime maximum 365 days. Optional benefits, you could add a lump sum cancer to this particular plan. Hospital emergency room visit and ambulance, you could add to this plan. Frequently asked questions, period of care. Again, 180 days. Client gets care, they recover, they don't need care for 180 days. 180 days after same or new illness, it restores again. Plan is guaranteed renewable for life. We will pay the policyholder directly unless he assigns it to a healthcare provider, and premiums do not increase with age. Here is something I wanted to throw your way. We will accept risk for our home health care plan. So if you have a client that has any of these conditions, it's acceptable. Go talk to them. We will accept a risk for Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, oxygen use, diabetes with no insulin limit, seizure disorders, heart attack, stroke, as long as it's been over 12 months, connective tissue disorder, dementia, use of a cane or a walker, we'll take them. Cancer-free for over 12 months, we'll accept it. Rheumatoid arthritis, macular degeneration, we'll accept them. So if you have clients that unfortunately have some of these conditions, please let them know that there is a plan that hopefully they never have to use, but if they do, it's going to give them a nice benefit to have their mind at ease while they're recovering. Let's talk a little bit about final expenses as we wrap this up. I don't know if everybody talks about final expense. Life insurance is so important for our seniors, right? You would think that somebody age 65 and over, if they haven't bought life insurance by now, well, think about it. If they had $10,000, do you think inflation diluted and deteriorated the value of it, just like it has everything else in our world today? What's the average cost? It could be anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000, depending on services, etc. Commend them for having it, but show them how affordable it would be to add another $5 to it, or whatever the client may see fit. Through our Ascendal plan, this is a dynamic, non-participating, non-power whole life. It's a whole life plan. So as you're enrolling your client, unfortunately, there are folks that their health is not perfect and they can't answer all the questions favorably, that doesn't mean that you should lose a sale, or it doesn't mean that your client shouldn't get the benefits. If there are any questions answered yes in section C, your client would qualify for a modified, meaning that the first 2 years, if God forbid there's a death due to non-accidental, it's due directly to their health, the beneficiary will get all the premium back plus 10%. Upon the first day of the third year, the benefits are paid fully, whatever they chose, up to $25,000, whether it's accident or non-accident. That's a great deal. If they're able to answer all the questions favorable, the policy is issued. It pays full benefits regardless of an accident or a non-accidental death. You can see that ages 40 through 55, you give up to $50,000 in benefits. But let's drop down a little further. 89. I'm sure we have a lot of clients, and they have parents that are alive today. Wow, that client acquisition cost is zero. All you got to do is ask, how's mom and dad? I'd like to share some options with them. So an 89-year-old person can qualify for a whole life plan up to $25,000 in benefits. We have super preferred rates. So if any client had applied and qualified for any of our Medicare supplement plans through Ascendo, and they apply for a life insurance plan with Ascendo within a 6-month window, they're going to get 10% preferred rates. The rates, by the way, are very competitive. If you run a competitive grid, this program is probably amongst the top 3-4 percentile. You add another 10%, we're probably going to be number one. We have the Social Security payment option. So if they want to align their draft date on their premium to align with when they get their Social Security check deposited, we can do that. Optional riders, they're available, and we'll talk a little bit about them. Broad qualifying range, age range, 40 to 89, that's amazing. Flexible coverage, $2,000 all the way up to $50,000 in benefits. We have the accelerated death benefit rider, which will pay 50% of the death benefit, less any policy loans, because there's non-forfeiture features, right? So if they borrow against or something like that, but they can get 50% of their death benefit if there's a terminal illness that can be certified by their doctor. We have accidental death benefit rider. So if we have that rider and there's accidental death, they'll pay 100% of the base policy's face amount. And another nice benefit is the child or grandchild term insurance rider. So if grandma wants to add her grandchildren, pennies per day, they can get up to $10,000 of term insurance, and then at age 18 they can convert it to a whole life without any proof of insurability. It's a nice benefit. The plan is available coast to coast. In closing, team, the mobile app, Quotes on the Go. If you have a smartphone, go to your app store and download Quotes on the Go Aetna, that logo right there. Put it on your phone, and you can quote any of these plans we spoke of. Very, very simple. The Aetna Quote and Enroll, easy online tool for electronic applications. Apply for multiple products at the same time. So kind of like the shopping cart experience. If you enroll somebody that messes up and then you want to add the life insurance, you can add that right in there, or whatever other product. Automated underwriting with most decisions within minutes. So with our partnering with Milliman, as you're populating that application, we're running a background check. So at the end, when you're ready to submit it, you're either going to get a green bar, a yellow bar, or a black bar. When it's green means it's being issued. Yellow means that perhaps there's a medication like a dual drug, like maybe Plavix, right? Plavix can be taken for peripheral vascular disease or something as simple as blood pressure. So there's a little more clarity that we need. Again, not a delay. Or red means that there's something in the background, health that the client won't get issued, but as that trusted advisor, you know that you could try a different company. I remember back in the day, we'd submit an application, wait weeks, only to find out it's not issued, right? So this is a very, very impressive platform to submit your applications on. In closing, I appreciate you kind of bearing with me. I must have caught a last-minute cold, so I hope you can understand me. My team is here. We're always here to help and assist. The only thing that differentiates anything today is service. So we want to make sure we render the utmost service to you and to your clients. So we're a phone call away should we need anything whatsoever. So with all that, Christy, I'm going to hand it back over to you. See if any of the team has a question. If not, please know that we're always here. And also on the AetnaSeniorProducts.com website, if you haven't gone to there, please go in there under the training tab. There are professionally created videos for each and every one of the products we briefly discussed today. So thank you. And Christy?
Thank you, George, and I hope you feel better. You did not sound sick at all. So good covering. But we appreciate you joining us today. That was very informative, and I really appreciate it. For everyone else here, thank you for joining us. February was our cross-selling month. So if you missed any of the webinars for any of the other products, please go onto our training calendar on our website and you can watch them at your convenience on demand. Next month, we have Carrier Connection Month. So we do have webinars set up with all the carriers that we work with. So make sure you're also going on the calendar and registering for any of those that you're interested in hearing. And we'll keep pace with these webinars upcoming for the rest of the year. So we appreciate you joining us. Also, our Medicare Connections Conference, the date is Thursday, August 24th, which we have announced since January. So please mark your calendar for that. And like George said, reach out if you have any questions. We're here to help. And thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your days.
Thank you.